And let me share my screen. Let me minimize some screens here. Let me move this out of the way. I've got a bunch of other screens that you guys can see here. All right, so let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I haven't had time to really look over the market. I just walked in the door and turned on my computer, so I'll kind of go over everything with you guys as I see it. Bitcoin is sitting at 4104. It's sitting currently above the 9 EMA, and it's been actually it broke the 50 EMA, which is a really good sign. And currently it's sitting above the 50 EMA as well. And there's a potential cross on the 9 to the 50. Currently, the RSI is on a downtick, but like I mentioned before, that's going to represent the candle, the current candle, which obviously right now it's red, so it's going to have a downtick. But the MACD here does show definitely still a lot of room on the upside. It barely crossed over to the bullish side of the oscillator. So as you can see here, it definitely has enough room to continue to go up if we get enough support and if we get enough volume coming in. Currently, we do have a bit of a bear divergence with the price action and the volume. As you can notice here, that the volume bars are going higher as the volume is diminishing. So we might see a little bit of a correction, maybe a break of the 50 down to the 9 EMA, do some sideways consolidation, and hopefully continue to the upside. Let's look at the 12-hour time frame on BTC and see how that looks. And that looks really good as far as the indicators are concerned. We've got a slight uptick on the MACD, but look where it's at, guys. It is on the floor. I mean, it has a ton of room to go to the upside. Same thing with the RSI. We are at 21 points, but we are below the 9 EMA ever since we broke that sideways pattern that we held for such a long time, for 2-3 months. We finally broke that 9 EMA support, and we just kept on tumbling. And until we cross that 9 EMA, we won't see, in my opinion, we won't see any real movement to the upside until we can get past the 9 EMA on the 12-hour time frame. And I'm sure the 1 day is not going to look any better. Yeah, there's even more of a separation of the 9 and the price action. So we definitely have a lot of room to still fight the 9 EMA. So we can easily go up to it, which would be at about the $4,500 range, and probably get smacked down from that area, because as you can see here, the gap between the price action and the 9 EMA is pretty substantial. So we're going to need a lot of volume to really push through that 9 EMA and close above that 9 EMA. The MACD on the 1 day, you can see here where it has a slight bend. So as we saw in the 12-hour time frame, the 12-hour time frame already has an uptick, and it's going to have a bullish crossover here. That is going to be reflected into the 1 day time frame. I would imagine if it continues to move, it'll take maybe another 12-hour period to start seeing that trickle over to the 1 day time frame and start bending this a little bit more on the neutral side of the MACD. The next one is going to be, I'm going to actually do Ethereum. Let me move Ethereum over here to the tab. Ethereum right now is sitting at $118, and it's also sitting above the 50 EMA with a little bit of a stronger support. As you can see, the 50 EMA for the 1 hour time frame on Bitcoin, it was right on the border. Here, it still hasn't reached the 50, so it has a little bit more room. And also the 9 EMA is closer to the 50 on here. So we hopefully will get a cross pretty soon here. The RSI is on a downtick, again, reflecting this price action, but the MACD is looking just as bullish as Bitcoin just did. So we're looking good on the 1 hour time frame. Let me look at the 12-hour time frame, only because I haven't really studied the market this weekend. It looks exactly like Bitcoin. We have the crossover on the actual crossover here on the 12-hour where Bitcoin was getting to the crossover. And we don't have a lot of volume though. We are sitting right on this gap line of what, $117 gap line. So we're right on there, and we're still under the 9 EMA. So we definitely have to see the price action close above the 9 EMA to really start seeing some momentum back to the upside. We do have more gaps at the bottom below here, down at 95, if I'm not mistaken, is the next one. Yeah, 95 is the next one. Remember, guys, this isn't 100%. It can definitely continue to go up from here and leave that gap unresolved. It's a 91% probability. But being that we are a couple of months away from back, I don't see a reason why it won't continue to come back down. The same thing with BTC, and we're going to talk about that on the second part of the Zoom session. When is a good time to start buying into the market? Is it now, or do we wait till it drops even further? So I'm going to give you guys my opinion on it, and I'm sure Mr. Mo has his opinion as well on that, and we're both kind of in agreement on that. So we'll be talking to you guys on what we feel will be a good time to start buying. We'll talk about that in further detail on the second part. The next one we have here is Bitcoin Cash ABC. It had a nice little run up here a couple of days ago. Or was this today? Let me see. Yeah, this was today. Yeah, it was today actually. I thought I was looking at the higher time frame. And we were able to get above the 50 EMA, but we did not close. So currently we're pinched in between the 30. It's resting on the 30, and the 50 is acting as resistance. We have a downtick on the RSI reflecting the current candle state, but we definitely have reached the neutral ground on the MACD. So we have a lot of room on the MACD to move up. We just don't have a lot of volume, a lot of follow through. So I imagine once we get some follow through and some volume coming up into Bitcoin Cash ABC, we can hopefully get back. We can hopefully break the 50 EMA and consolidate there some more before we continue back to the upside. The Bitcoin Cash SV, however, has been doing phenomenal. I want to say, what was it? It did 100% already from it was a couple of days ago. I mean, it went down to $38, and today it reached 105. Even though Bitcoin hasn't had such a big move, like I mentioned before, guys, Bitcoin Cash has a mind of its own, and I've seen these things do 300-400%, while Bitcoin was going sideways and coming down, and in some instances. So you never know with Bitcoin Cash. It doesn't necessarily follow Bitcoin's price action all the time, as you can see from this chart right here. It's been doing a phenomenal run. Let's look at it in with the EMAs and the other indicators. So we hit overbought, as you can see here. We hit overbought at 80 points, came down to 56 points, had a nice cool down, and then started to climb back up, and currently is sitting at 60 points. The MACD, however, is turning bearish. It's having a bearish crossover. So I am going to imagine, looking at the MACD, in my opinion, it's going to trump the RSI, meaning that it's going to take precedence over the RSI, even though we do have the ability to stay up here and hang out in this area for a while. But being that we're already having that bearish crossover here, I imagine we're probably going to cool back down to the 200 EMA before we continue again. I mean, if we get a lot of volume that comes in, then maybe, but looking at the MACD, I see a cool down, at least in the short term. In the long term, it's anybody's guess. On the 4-hour time frame, we are approaching overbought as well. Let's look at it in the 12-hour time frame. 12-hour time frame, there's not much data on the MACD, but the RSI is at 40 points. We do have plenty of room, but look at the gap between the 9 and the price action. This gap has to close. So I imagine it's going to close as the price comes down and corrects a little bit. Then you'll see the 9 EMA catching up to it for support. So I do see a short-term, at least a short-term correction on Bitcoin Cash before. If it decides to go up again, who knows? But I would say that it's going to correct before it decides to go up. ICE has been having a really nice run. It went as low as 20 cents, and it had a high today of 25 cents. So it had a nice little run. Currently, it's going through a correction, just like all the other coins here. It's starting to cool down a little bit. We see a downtick on the RSI, but again, plenty of room on the MACD, sitting here on neutral territory. NEO, I mean, it went down as low as $6.85, guys. $6.85. I mean, these coins, it's just unbelievable prices. I bought some at $7.12, actually a little bit below. I bought it down here. I'm not selling it. I bought it to daily cost average in. I'm not selling this one here. If we have a break to 14, I bought some at 1465, I think it was. That one I might break even. This one I am not just yet, because this is a great price for NEO. Like I mentioned before on the announcements, I think it was, or I posted something earlier today about NEO. I've seen NEO go up to 6,000%, come all the way down, crash like 90%. And then go back up over 3,000% in a 6-month period. So for me, buying NEO at $7.12 and then buying it again at $14, well, the one that I bought at $14, that to me is a bargain. Even at $14, I don't care that it dropped 50%, because I know that this thing could go thousands of percent higher. So I don't care that I lost 50% on the purchase I did a couple of weeks ago on NEO when it filled a gap. And I got to pick some more up today. So I really am looking a little bit more for the longer term on these here. And let's see where it goes. Let's see where it goes. If this goes 50% and Bitcoin's looking a little weak, then yeah, I'll definitely, actually, if this goes 100% to match my 50% that I lost on the last purchase, then I might think about taking some profit and then waiting for that retrace. Let's look at ADA. ADA had a nice run. It went down to 0.333, and now it's at 0.378. Not much of a move, but nevertheless had a nice little move. Look at the RSI, it tells you the move that it had. Let's look at it in percentage-wise. See what that move represents. That move represents 20%. That's a really, really nice move in just, I think it's a 24-hour period, not even a 24-hour period. So, I mean, that's a great ROI here. It's currently sitting at the 9 EMA. It did get rejected by the 50 EMA here. So it looks just the same as all the other alts, and I imagine all the ones that we're going to continue to cover are going to have the very similar price action, since we had that really big violent drop. They're all going to have the very similar EMAs and very similar market structure on all of these altcoins. Again, MACD, plenty of room. RSI reflecting the current candle state, but it's still in a very nice position at 49.50 points on the RSI. XLM covered. Look at all these gaps. It just filled all of these gaps and then some. And it actually fell. It actually had a really nice run, I believe, today. Hackerdan was able to do a really nice run on this one today. Got some good profit. So congratulations on that. I didn't get in on XLM, but congratulations on those who did. That also ran 20%. I bought ICE and NEO. Those are the two that I recently bought. But again, I'm not looking to day trade them. I'm looking a little bit more long term, because I've seen these. I traded ICE at $12. It's 24 cents. That is think of the percentage gain trying to get this back up to $12. It is something like what, 10,000% increase. And I'm a believer in the project. Some people are not. Some people lost faith in it, and that's okay. But even if it does half that, even if it goes to $8, I mean, the percentage is just unreal. And like I've mentioned before, I'm looking more. I'm getting more and more bullish for long term. Though I would like to make some short term, 40, 50% pumps. I'll take those, but for right now, I'm not really. My mindset is not in those short terms right now. Zcash had also a really nice retrace and a really nice pump here, and it's currently sitting above the 50 EMA. The RSI is looking bullish, still has plenty of room at 58 points, and the MACD as well. So the Zcash is looking really good as well. TRX also had a nice little run, currently sitting above the 30 EMA and pinched in between the 50 and the 30 EMA. RSI is currently representing the current state of the candle, which is red, so that's why you have that downtick, but is sitting in a really nice position at 52 points. MACD, great position. ONT, another one of my favorites that I've also been laddering in is ONT. Great coin. I'm a big believer in ONT and NEO. We've seen what ONT can do, and I think it has a lot of room to the upside in this next bull run. I want to say probably even more than NEO. ONT being that it's a newer coin and it hasn't really ran the way NEO has, and it has a much smaller market cap, and it has a really strong community. So ONT is another one of my favorites. We're sitting at 48 points on the RSI. So the last one is, oh, actually that is the last one. This is this next one is NEO, but that's only because I charted it again. I didn't find the tab earlier, and I wanted to see what my gains were. Not much so far, but that's okay. All right, guys, this is the final of the first part. So you guys just hang in there. I'm just going to stop the recording, and then I'll restart it in just a minute. So the second part will be coming up shortly. Give me 1 second. I'm looking for my recording option. What happened to my, okay, stop recording.